with the way he's playing right now, Bob.
And Troy Taylor has thrown 9 touchdown passes, is on a pace to break the California touchdown passing record for a single season. And they've had a slew of good quarterbacks. What kind of player is Troy Taylor?
Well, he looks like an NBA guard. He's about 6'4" and 180 pounds, very slight, but a great arm, good passing motion, light on his feet. He's thrown 3 or 4 touchdown passes this year on the move, buying himself some time, receivers working themselves open, and then he gets them the ball.
Now, the Tennessee defense known for pressure when they need to, and it's our feeling that they'll need to pressure Troy Taylor a little bit today, but they'll have to do it without Kelly Ziegler, their inside linebacker, who's injured, not here today.
I think that if you let Troy Taylor develop a sequence, something that he feels comfortable with, he can give you real trouble. They're not too strong up front. California, their offensive line, they're just not as big as some other teams that Tennessee will play anyway. And I think that they can get pressure. And, you know, Ken Donahue, the defensive coordinator here, man, he loves to roll the dice. He loves to send them, and I think you'll see that this afternoon.
Well, the California team's kind of a mash unit. They've got a whole list of injuries on this team. They've been struggling, and one of the reasons is that they've had so many players hurt. As you take a look at some of the injured starters, some of these will be playing, but they're playing with injuries.
And they're going to miss him.
Well, we'll be back here in just a moment for the kickoff at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee. Bruce Snyder, in his first year as coach of the Golden Bears, he was the running back coach this time last year for the professional Los Angeles Rams. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System. Just ready for the kickoff at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Number 34 is Reggie Cobb, the freshman sensation for Tennessee. He has been really playing well, and he has great yardage in terms of his all-around game. Kickoff returns, receiving, rushing the ball. Number 10 is Robbie Keane. He is a redshirt freshman kicker for California. So the Golden Bears facing red-hot Tennessee. It's cold here, 44 degrees at kickoff time. From the 9, it's Cobb. To the 33-yard line goes Reggie Cobb, and Jeff Francis leads the Volunteers on the field after a very emotional 2020 tie that I think Tennessee felt like was really kind of a victory because it was a come-from-behind tie, and Francis, as we told you moments ago, really came into his own in that ball game. Harry Galbraith had a tremendous game at left guard, but the entire Tennessee offensive line handled a very good Auburn defense very well. Tennessee ball, first down 10 from the 32 of the Volunteers. That's Charles Wilson, the fullback, to the 38-yard line as Tennessee gets this game underway. Let's look at the California Golden Bears defensive unit. Ben Jones will be a question mark today. Number 20, Tennessee may pick on him right here. Second down 4. Francis Cobb. First down. Cobb gets out near the 50-yard line. Tackled by 19, Derek Taylor, a gain of 11.
You can feel the intensity here from the crowd, Bob. Last week against Auburn, they were about to shake some cement off these rafters. Playing Rocky Top before the game, they were clapping politely, but they're not as excited. And as you mentioned, it is cold here, especially for a Florida boy.
Tim Foley's wrapped in his blanket once again on first down. Cobb! Near the first down, a gain of approximately 10 yards. It was Derek Taylor, 19, and 21, Travis Oliver with the stop. This nicked-up defense of California is going to have trouble with Tennessee's offensive line.
Watch Kirk, 66 there. Great job. Galbraith helping out. Nice job of blocking by Wilson on Hendrickson. And there goes Reggie Cobb. I think that Tennessee will try to establish the run early. Just show California that we can run it down your throat. That's what they're going to try to do. And then that'll just open up the quick passing game for them.
It's just short of the first down. Second down, less than a yard from the 41. Here's Cobb again. First down, Tennessee. To the 37 or 8-yard line. Tackled by number 90, Joe Nelms from Concord, California. California arrived in Tennessee last night, well, actually late yesterday afternoon at about 4:30, 5 o'clock. Came over, worked out for just a little while. Remember, in the bodies of the California players, it's only 9:43, so it's kind of brunch with Tim and Bob today. I'm sure a lot of California viewers are following the Golden Bears. Enjoy your croissants. On first and 10 from the 38. Jeff Francis checking off. Reggie Cobb to the 35-yard line and stop there. The shortest gain so far. Majett Whiteside, M-A-J-E-T-T, the nose guard. making the stop, and there's Bruce Snyder.
Bruce Snyder came to California in December 1978, and just an excellent football mind. He's got a great staff with him.
Second down, 7. Reggie Cobb hit hard. Number 40, David Ortega. Just leveled him. Ortega is a 225-pound sophomore from Whittier, California. Charles Wilson, single setback for Tennessee. 3 wide outs in the ball game for the Volunteers. Jeff Francis facing some pressure. Throwing under pressure. It's a first down, Tennessee. What a good job of running after the catch by number 4, Terrence Cleveland. Good job all around by Tennessee under good pressure.
But Terrence Cleveland there, trucking to the outside, scoots by Dwayne Jones, a safety, and loses him. Francis' athletic skill enables him to get the ball off downfield, and as you mentioned, nice job by Woods to get the first down, get a face mask called, tack onto it.
We're going to move that ball down to the 22-yard line.
First down.
And I guess this week our referee microphone is working, so you'll be hearing the voice of Pat Flood, today's referee. Let's see if we can spot the face mask violation.
Right at the end of it, John Hardy trying to get a piece of Terrence, and that piece is out of bounds there, John.
11:44 to go, first quarter. Tennessee's opening drive. Cobb returned it out to past the 30-yard line. Tennessee has just moved right downfield at a 3rd and 7. That's the first test Tennessee's offense has had. Now it's first down. Cobb bouncing off tackles to the 15-yard line. Derek Taylor with the tackle for the California Golden Bears. This California team is injured, as we pointed out, and they have to be discouraged. They are 1-3, winning their opener against the University of Pacific, but then losing a close one to San Jose State, losing a close one to Minnesota, and then being manhandled by Southern Cal last week.
But manhandle's a little strong. They were in the game till the 4th quarter, and that also was a very emotional game for California, even though they didn't come out on the winning end.
Francis. It is complete to T.D. Woods, and it's close to the first down marker. Thomas Woods with the reception, number 5.
Let's see it again. Jeff showed a little discouragement after this throw. The ball sailed on him just a little bit. Didn't really come through on it, and sent Woods up into the air. They got the first down anyway.
From the 12-yard line of California, 34 Cobb, 42 Poles, 2 freshmen in the backfield for Tennessee. Reggie Cobb is really carrying the load today. Back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Tripped up by number 1 John Hardy, then finished off by Joel Dixon, number 99. For Reggie Cobb, that was his 6th carry on this drive for 25 yards thus far.
Tennessee is spending a lot less time at the line of scrimmage than we're used to seeing them do. They started doing it against Auburn as far as getting up on the ball and getting a play off. So defenses didn't have as much opportunity to disguise and give Francis so many different looks.
Second down, 10. No score in the game. Early in the first quarter, Tennessee threatening. Reggie Cobb again. Hit hard again at the 10. Only a gain of 2 or 3 that time. Jeff Ebert, 195-pound junior from Camarillo, California, with the stop for the Golden Bears. So Tennessee now looking at a 3rd down long. Gets tougher inside the 20.
McGuire into the game for Reggie Cobb. Sure, Johnny, they like to fade down here. It hasn't been successful for them as of late, Bob. But some type of motion, crossing patterns, that's what you can look for here.
This is the 12th play of this drive on 3rd down 7. The ball is knocked loose, incomplete. A jarring tackle by 21 Travis Oliver on number 4 Terrence Cleveland. Cleveland is still shaking about the 3 or 4 yard line.
Knocked out of him, and he's up on his feet and running. You'd be a lot more concerned if that blow had been, obviously, if it had been higher.
Certainly a good form tackle, nothing illicit about it. It was just a real knockdown by Travis Oliver. Now we're going to get a field goal attempt because Tennessee had the incomplete pass. It's 4th down. Phil Rich in to try a 26-yarder from right about the middle of the field, as you see. Hits it perfectly, and Tennessee is out to a 3-0 lead over the California Golden Bears with 9:26 remaining in quarter number 1 from Knoxville, Tennessee. Many of the California players may not have heard Rocky Top, the Tennessee victory celebration song, but Tennessee has their way. They may get a chance to hear it a lot today. Tennessee with a 3-0 lead over the Golden Bears and 9 minutes 26 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The deep backs are number 3, Tyrone Moore, and number 34, Darren Greer. Moore's on the left, Greer on the right. Both of them have the capability of breaking it. They are exciting runners. And it is kicking off for Tennessee, Dirk Borgononi. Borgononi, you may wonder, he is of French-Italian descent.
First half is French, then the last half is Italian.
The Gogononi part is Italian. That's right. Dirk's an excellent kicker, redshirt freshman from Reno, Nevada. You know, he wondered about his future here because Phil Rich is so good, but he says he's really happy he contributes so much on kickoffs because he's really been doing a good job. Here comes Tyrone Moore. Down goes Tyrone Moore at the 18-yard line, knifing in to make the stop, number 54, Houston Thomas, a 12-yard kickoff return. And now the California Golden Bears come out to open the offense, and here's the... He'll get a good workout from the right side of the Tennessee defensive line. Here's Moore, hit in the backfield, ball's loose. It goes out of bounds and will belong to California because it was never in the possession of anybody. Hobby ripped it loose, number 90 for Tennessee.
Designed to show inside, then pop outside, takes it out there. Hobby grabs the hold of Moore, strips the ball. And here comes Victor Peppers, who had the big interception against Auburn last year. Cedric Klein is there, just can't hold onto it. Squiggles away out of bounds. That's a break for California.
Second down, 18, Golden Bears. They get a chance to see their punter, Steve Tabor, who's the best punter in the nation. Incomplete. They were looking for Brian Bedford, number 82. This Tennessee defensive team playing very well. We've used the term opportunistic so much it's getting to be a cliche for the Volunteers, but they are that in fact. Those are the 3 starting defensive linemen, but Hovanek, Hunt, and Cooper, who come into play, are in some cases better than those guys. Keith DeLong had a career game last week against Auburn. Kimbrough playing for the injured Kelly Ziegler, and the defensive secondary really coming into its own for Tennessee, particularly those 2 cornerbacks, 86 McDaniel and number 8 Victor Peppers. Third down, 18. Gets back to the 12, and down he goes, and now we get to see the nation's leading punter. Now normally we don't talk this much about punters, particularly Tim, who I guess hasn't talked about him yet, but his name is Scott Tabor. Last week he averaged 55.6 yards a punt, including a Pac-10 record 89-yard punt against Southern Cal.
He also scooped up a bad snap and ran for a first down. So that's good. That's athletic.
There you go. You talked about a punter.
We'll count him as a player.
That's the first time in 96 games that you mentioned the punter. Tabor, not a very good one this time after that tremendous buildup. Here comes Kramer. Back to the 35-yard line of the Golden Bears, stopped by number 41, Dan Slavin. And after all we said, that was only a 38-yard punt and a 15-yard return. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System. Now, in case you didn't believe us about Scott Tabor, this is last week's action against Southern Cal out of his own end zone. 6'3", about 210 pounds. Watch this. See, 86, 87, 88, 88 and a half, 89 yards. Tennessee, first play, Francis from the 35. It is complete to the 20. Thomas Woods broke loose. He looked as though he stepped out of bounds at the 17. An 18-yard gain. He's covered by 21, Travis Oliver, but he went out of bounds at the 17.
That's a situation, Bob, where you look for the knockout punch early. California's a strong football team. They can move the football, but if you can get a touchdown on them in a hurry here, it's going to take a lot of emotion out of them. They had Vincent Moore flying down the middle. Francis chose the sideline better.
First down, 10 from the 17-yard line. Reggie Cobb tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Got a couple of more. He was hit by Travis Oliver, 21. We have an update on Terrence Cleveland, number 4 for Tennessee, the wide receiver. Cleveland, who was shaken up when he was hit by Oliver, has a contusion in his rib cage and will return to play.
I love that. I love that. The contusion.
You want to explain?
They had to spell that to me in college, I'll tell you that. That means your ribs hurt.
From the 14-yard line, California, Tennessee, second down 7. Reggie Cobb, big hole. Nobody touched him. 14 yards into the end zone. Tennessee quickly to a 9-0 lead. Only halfway through the first quarter.
I guess that answers the question as to whether Tennessee was ready to play or not, Bob.
They were not flat. We kept talking about that 1985 game after Tennessee beat Auburn when they just barely beat Wake Forest. Tennessee seems to be ready to play today. Here's Phil Rich for the point after. Tennessee leads in this game 10-0 with 7:29 remaining in the first quarter from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Let's take a look at this. Nobody, correct me if I'm wrong, touches number 34, Reggie Cobb.
And that's just another fine job by the offensive line. Galbraith takes him to the outside. William Howard gets a defensive back on the ground, and Reggie wishes they were all that easy. Every running back would love to carry the ball if they could get into the end zone this way. Tried to step up, take out the blocker. Ruin falling down. William Howard makes a critical block, and a wide receiver downfield blocking on a cornerback kept him out of Reggie Cobb's face. And Johnny Majors has to be a little bit more relaxed. As a coach, you're always concerned about playing whoever you play after a big game like they had last week, and especially if it's a team that has not looked real good on film.
Reggie Cobb has scored 8 of Tennessee's 15 touchdowns in 1987. Reggie Cobb's making the people say, who's Leroy Thompson? Leroy Thompson was very highly recruited this past year. Of course, Cobb is a redshirt freshman, highly recruited player from Knoxville, who went to Penn State. A lot of people thought he was better than Cobb, but at least at this point in his career, Reggie Cobb is playing better. Organoni gets a lot of height on this one. It's gusty wind down here. Comes down to 34, Darren Greer. Greer takes it to the 28-yard line, tripped up by 8 Victor Peppers. And California has a little bit better opportunity for field position on this drive. You're looking at perhaps a star quarterback in the making in Troy Taylor. And there have been some great ones at California season.
That's 14 touchdown passes in the season, right?
First down 10 from the 27. Troy Taylor fumbles the ball. Tennessee has fallen on it at the 14-yard line. Taylor tried to get loose from the first grasp. That was Richard Cooper, and then Brian Hunt fell on the ball. 77 Cooper was the guy with his arms around Taylor.
And this is the second line that you talked about, Bob. Hunt, Kovanec, and Cooper. As Taylor tried to scramble away, and he's made some big plays for California so far this year doing that. The ball was yanked loose. Tennessee falls on it. Sets up, looking downfield, pressured right away by Cooper. Tries to put it away. Cooper slaps it out of there.
Tennessee first down 10 from the 14-yard line of California. Now Keith Davis in the backfield. He does not have the success on his first carry of the day. Reggie Cobb has seen hit by 77 Whiteside. Loss on
Richard Cooper, at times the best defensive lineman on Tennessee's team, and at times not the most consistent player. And I think that he's the type of player that if he can develop that consistent effort, if he can perform as he does when he's on all the time, he could be a great player.
second down 12 Volunteers. Francis screens it to Keith Davis. And Davis gets inside the 10-yard line. First down markers at the 4. David Ortega makes the stop, number 40. And a
screen pass.
Thank you. He's doing the color now, Bob.
Thank you for explaining it, Pat. You know, it's an interesting point, as Gordon Pettis, the SEC supervisor of officials, explained. When officials pick up a flag, it doesn't mean the officials have made a mistake necessarily. A lot of times, one of the officials will throw a pass and throw a flag and say, that's a potential for a penalty, and explain it to the referee and say, here's what happened. The referee can then make a decision as to whether it's the kind of penalty that is, in fact, one they want to call. That's why they pick it up. Here's Reggie Cobb. Near the first down marker, tackled by number 1, John Hardy. And Reggie Cobb, with his 10th carry of the day, is nearing 50 yards, and we're just barely short of the first down.
Going for it here on 4th down. The wise move at this time of the football game. Things are going your way. They've run the ball successfully. They get 95,000 people here behind them.
Airborne is Reggie Cobb. Did he break the plane of the first line to gain marker? We'll see when they spot it. Jeff Ebert hit Cobb as he got about 10 feet off the ground, it looked. The first down marker is between the 3 and 4 yard line. They're going to bring the sticks into measure. Johnny Majors, not wanting to experience what he did in his first game as head coach at his alma mater when he lost 27-17 to California.
Well, he's got a much better football team here, and Cal will hopes to again become the kind of football team that they had then. On that day back in 1977, Paul Jones carried the ball 31 times for 128 yards, and to do that you have to dominate a team physically, and nobody's going to dominate Tennessee physically this year.
It is a first down. First and goal from the 3. Cobb hit in the backfield and tripped up. Dives forward to the 4, hitting him number 99 Joel Dixon from Vallejo, California. Time remaining in the first quarter.
Joel Dixon is a converted lineman. They moved him to the outside linebacker. Just watch him here work, slides off a tackle, keeps on his feet, makes contact with Cobb in the backfield. Nice job.
Second and goal from the 4 yard line. Tennessee leading 10-0. They're going to try Cobb on the right side. Good work on the left. He gets to the 1 yard line, tackled by 40 David Ortega, his 3rd tackle in this young ball game.
Tennessee has really gone to running the ball inside the 10, Bob. As you look at Bruce Snyder, concerned about the progress so far in this game. I think he feels good about his football team, but he's got to be realistic. He is thin in terms of talent at this particular point. What he's got to do is instill his philosophy of playing into these players and then get some more players.
3rd down goal from the 1. Reggie Cobb left. Touchdown, Reggie Cobb. His 9th touchdown of the year. 2nd today. And the 2nd time he scored without having anybody's hands on him.
Just that dominant Tennessee line. Look at Galbraith slide out there. That guy moves like a fullback. Good job of blocking by Middlebrooks. Just walls off the outside linebacker. William Howard does his regular cleanup job on the force man, and Cobb waltzes into the end zone.
Bill Rich for the point after. Tennessee out in front, 17-0, with 4 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Okay, let's look at this again from the crow's nest as Jeff Francis tosses the ball back to Reggie Cobb. You see 76 Galbraith coming out there, wall up the inside, and right there in the circle, Nate Middlebrooks doing a great job on Joel Dixon, walling him off to the inside. You're about to see Travis Oliver, 175 pounds, going against William Howard, the human bowling ball, and it just doesn't do any good. Reggie's in there, unscathed.
Tennessee 17, California nothing. Borgonone's going to have a tired leg here from kicking off. Unless California can maintain ball control. California hadn't been able to get it started at all thus far today. This one is barely out of bounds.
Doug is led the SEC in rushing back in 1969 for Vanderbilt. He does an exceptional job with these running backs. And
Borgononi, a very strong leg from Reno, Nevada. He was recruited by Tennessee, and the first time he got a call, he said, Tennessee, I'm not exactly sure where that is. Now he knows.
Between Marvin Gardens and...
To the 28-yard line goes Tyrone Moore. He is hit by 54 Houston Thomas, a 15-yard return. And thus far, Troy Taylor, the quarterback we've been talking about so positively, hasn't had an opportunity to get anything done. He is 0 for 1 passing. He was sacked, lost the ball when Richard Cooper got him. Brian Hunt fell on it. It led to Tennessee's second touchdown. From the 28-yard line, first down, California. They haven't been outside their 30 yet. And the timeout was called by the Volunteers. The reason I hesitated there, the 25-second clock was down to about 5 seconds when the Volunteers called timeout and come to the sideline for a conversation.
You're looking at Dick Bumpus there talking to Ziegler's replacement, Charles Kimbrough. Bumpus was an All-Southwest Conference tackle at Arkansas in the late 60s. Played for Frank Broyles there, and quite a competitor. Played for the Memphis Showboat.
Obviously some confusion there on the Tennessee defensive side. Let's look at some stuff. Lorenzo White, the 2-yard touchdown run. Florida State really shut Lorenzo White down last week as the Seminoles beat Michigan State. Texas Tech out in front early over Texas A&M in the Southwest Conference. Wake Forest leading Army 7-3. And North Carolina State laying a whooping on Georgia Tech early. North Carolina State heavy underdog in that ball game, but I would remind you it is still early. We'll keep you updated on college football scores all afternoon here from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, where the Volunteers are laying an old-fashioned whooping on California 17-0 with just under 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. California ball, first down 10 from their own 28. Check off by Taylor. They get it to the 32-yard line in the hands of Tyrone Moore. Gain of about 5. Richard Cooper with a stop for Tennessee.
What California needs to do now is just forget about the score. Now they have to start developing some type of pattern. I think if you're going to go against this Tennessee defense, you're going to have the most luck you'll have is on the ground. I think and that's where Auburn was successful last week. 2 tight ends ran the ball on this quarterback punt.
Troy Taylor strains it to the right side. It is Moore, and he's knocked out of bounds short of the first down at the 36-yard line by 82 Charles Kimbrough. So it'll be a third down conversion opportunity for the California Golden Bears. I don't think they have a first down in the ball game yet. California without a first down so far. Moore is playing in place of the injured Chris Richards, and although a good running back is certainly not the talent of Chris Richards, Richards is injured with an ankle and is probably not going to play today.
Well, Tyrone missed all of last year, Bob, due to an injury, and had a good season in 1985. He's got an aggressive style of running, but as you mentioned, he's not a Chris Richards.
Third down, about 3. Incomplete. A real quick toss to Michael Smith, number 83, couldn't handle it. And California will have to give it up again. California still without a first down in this ball game with 3:14 to go in the first quarter. And Taylor 1 out of 3 passing for only 4 yards.
One of the surest signs that a team is ready to play, Bob, is if your special teams are aggressive. And you've seen the kickoffs that Tennessee's had. They've had people flying down into the wedge, good hits. Special team play is usually representative of the emotional level of the entire squad.
Tennessee with 10 men on the line. They may be going after this punt by Taylor. They did. They blocked it. It can be advanced. And it was out to the 45-yard line of Tennessee. Dwayne Jones was the man with the ball. A gain of 20 yards on the play, and the man who got his hands on it was 82 Charles Kimbrough. got his hand on the punt, and that's Scott Tabor, who is down. Now, as I understand this, the officials are talking about it. We look at it again. I believe if it's blocked behind the line of scrimmage, that ball is loose and can be advanced.
Nobody even got a hat on Kimbrough, and he was there with his whole body. I'm not sure Tabor if he hit Tabor's leg on the way up or what. I believe it can be advanced too, Bob.
Penalty markers down. We'll get an explanation.
Illegal play because the kicker picked up the ball behind the line. The first down.
Just as
Then we have a dead ball foul slip on the offensive team at the 1st and 25.
So there's the call. It was a legal play, as the official explained, and as we had said, but it is a penalty against California. They move it back to the 40-yard line of the Golden Bears. It will be their ball, though. First down, 25.
The critical thing there is Dwayne Jones picked the ball up in their backfield. The ball had not crossed the line of scrimmage.
Flipping California, penalty against California. 1st and 10, Golden Bears.
So it's simply if a kick, either a field goal kick or a punt is blocked in the backfield, it's simply a live ball. Jerome Moore hit by number 45, Darren Miller. Let's look at it again. Scott Tabor. Tennessee sends 10 men after it.
Good snap. Kimbrough breaks clean up the middle. Tabor hits his leg, and there goes Jones. Good hop, cuts it back to the inside. First down. That's a break for California.
That's 2 first downs in the last 2 games. The punter has delivered for California. He didn't like to deliver it that way this time. It's popped into the air and falls incomplete at about the 38 of Tennessee. Terry McDaniel trying to get it. Intended for 82 Brian Bedford, but 86 McDaniel had a better shot at that ball.
And Troy Taylor needs to take a deep breath because that time Bedford was open. A little pattern, hooked at about 12 yards, and that ball just got away from Troy. As you see, there's nobody around Bedford. That's why Terry McDaniel's not a wide receiver.
There you can see the domination of Tennessee in this game offensively. Troy Taylor is a sophomore from Rancho Corona, California. He hasn't seen this kind of pressure yet. Nice job completing that pass out to the midfield stripe, but because the receiver, Michael Smith, circled back himself, they'll mark it down at the 47. A long way short of the first down. Remember, it was 1st and 25 thanks to the clipping. So the first down marker's at the 35 for Tennessee. Another marker is down, and it's back at the line of scrimmage.
Before the season even started, in terms of receivers, California lost Vince Delgado and James Devers. And they were the 2 starters for them. And they're inexperienced at the wide out.
Tripping foul on the offense. 15 yards in the previous spot. Still 3rd down.
Brian Bedford was a quarterback, starting quarterback for the first 4 games last year, and they converted him to a slot when it became apparent that Taylor was going to develop into the starter.
Get your computer out. This ball is spotted back at the 26.5-yard line after the penalty for clipping on California. So it is going to be 3rd down and forever. 3rd down and 38. California needs to penetrate Tennessee's 35-yard line for a first down.
3rd and 38.
Taylor, incomplete. Look for Bedford again. Bedford had an opportunity to catch it, simply didn't, and Taylor was leveled again. Let's see if Tabor is okay. He was knocked down on the last punt. And if he can't punt, Robbie Keane will have to come in and do it, number 10, and there's Keane. So Tabor was shaken up on that last play. Their punter, who's the leading punter in the nation, was shaken up. Andre Kramer will now take the punt from Robbie Keane, a redshirt freshman who doesn't punt much, as you can see. End over end, gets a good California bounce, however. Kramer out of bounds. So the net result of that poor punt gets it out of bounds at the Tennessee 23. And Tennessee has their deepest starting position of the day after the backup punter comes in for Scott Tabor.
I might have been counting wrong, Bob, but I believe I saw 7 defensive backs on the field in that last play for Tennessee. That's something that they've talked about doing. They respect the passing game of California, and they respect this young quarterback, and they're prepared to take him on.
Minute 58 to go in the first quarter. Vando Davis and Roland Cole backfield for Tennessee. It is complete to 4. Terrence Cleveland couldn't get it outside, down to the 28-yard line. Terrence Cleveland was shaken up earlier, and speaking of shaken up, there's Troy Taylor, who's been under intense pressure.
They were a very, very potent offense.
To the 34-yard line, short of the first down, goes fullback Roland Coles, number 42. He's the redshirt freshman from Caledonia, New York. He was tackled by Natu, as we're going to call him. It's Natu Tuatogaloa, number 62 for California, Samoan from San Rafael.
Last year at San Jose State, under the direction of Terry Shea, they
are injured. Medical treatment. Minute to go in the first quarter. Tennessee leading 17-0 on the first down. Francis rolling and throwing, and completes it for a gain of about 3 yards to Keith Davis, 28. He was tackled by 26, Jeff Ebert. Second down 6, Tennessee. 37 Volunteers. Keith Davis short of the first down. Check that was Charles Wilson with the carry. And we have less than a minute to go here in the first quarter, and their best player, 49, is Ken Harvey.
And he has got the skill. Middlebrooks makes contact there, and Harvey makes the tackle, but Harvey is their strongest player. He's got the quickness and
As you see, less than 30 seconds in the first quarter. Tennessee will have a third down short yardage, and the officials with a brief timeout here to get everything set.
Matter of fact, I was talking to Harvey's coach, who's Denny Crehan.
Third down, a little more than a yard. Clock is running, 15 seconds to go in the quarter. This will be the final play of the first period, mercifully for California. And Vando Davis gets the first down for Tennessee to the 45-yard line, and the first quarter will come to a halt, and they'll just simply turn it around. They'll stop the clock for a moment to reset the sticks. With 3 seconds remaining. And they wind the clock, and that'll be the end of the first quarter. Tennessee leading in the ball game, 17-0. 2 Reggie Cobb touchdowns. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System. Underway. First quarter stats, all Tennessee. Total yards 125-8. California leads only in turnovers. That was the fumble that led to the second Tennessee touchdown. Jeff Francis. Number 4, Terrence Cleveland, breaking tackles. To the 37-yard line of California, David Ortega will get credit for the stop.
I think one of the things that concerned Bruce Snyder the most about his football team was the imbalance of speed. Tennessee has got one of the fastest football teams in the country, and California has got some good, solid players, but they don't have anybody that can really fly.
Speaking of really fly, number 10, redshirt freshman Vincent Moore is in there for Tennessee in the slot on the left side. Number 10, quarterback. It's first down 10, Tennessee. Francis gives it to the tailback inside the 35. Goes Vando Davis, the sophomore from Wilmington, Delaware. So Reggie Cobb came in and scored a couple of touchdowns, and now we've seen Keith Davis and Vando Davis alternating at the tailback spot.
I think that's a good idea. See,
the sunshine finally appearing here at Neyland Stadium, which will make Tim very, very happy.
yay,
Turn your collar down now.
warm up these California Raptors.
Second down 6. Here's Davis. Driving close to the first down, but short. Tackled by 19, Derek Taylor. Goes Vando Davis. Both of these teams playing an unusual, relatively late in the season, interconference games. Both are getting ready to head into the major stretch of their schedule in terms of the conference games. After this game, California goes back to play Arizona next week at Memorial Stadium in Berkeley, and then California will play 6 straight Pac-10 games. Tennessee has Alabama, Georgia Tech, Boston College coming up next few weeks. On the third down 3, Francis leads the pass from first down to the 21-yard line to William Howard, the fullback. Jeff Ebert makes the stop for California. And Francis, with 10 yards on that one, is marking up some statistics today. 9 out of 10 for 81 yards.
But there's a certain plateau that a player reaches, and he hangs around that plateau for a period of time, and then all of a sudden, zoom. It's like going on a diet. You know, you can live the first 10 pounds, man, they're no problem. But after that, you got to work at it. Francis has worked at being a good quarterback with Walt Harris, the offensive coordinator here at Tennessee, and really he's going to develop into something special before he's through.
On the first down, just a couple of yards up the middle for Vando Davis. He gets inside the 20 to about the 18. Tripped up by 30. Steve Hendrickson, the inside linebacker for the Golden Bears.
Then you got to admire Ken Harvey. You saw him push Phil, lose it like this, and you get behind and nothing's going right. You get flustered.
On second down 9, Tennessee just inside the 20 of California. Here's Vando Davis again. Got it outside. Headed for the corner. Out of bounds. At the 3-yard line. Gain of 16 yards.
Good block by Poles on Joel Dixon. Bang, right there. What a collision. Ebert just takes a bad angle. Darren Green got caught up inside, and Vando turned on the Jets.
Tennessee leading 17 to nothing with 12:08 to go in the first half, and about to put some more points on the board. First and goal from the California 3. Full house backfield. Keith Davis, Roland Poles, William Howard. Howard gets it. Airborne to the 1. Airborne's like watching an L-1011 take off from Atlanta's Hartsfield.
He looks like a cargo plane, but he gets up there pretty good, doesn't he?
If Reggie Cobb is a fighter plane, I'd say this guy's a heavy bomber.
Boom. Up and over. Good job of defense. Good hustle by those California players. Keep William Howard keep getting into the end zone. He led the SEC last year, so he's used to the end zone.
Second down goal.
Scoring.
Howard again. Touchdown. He's logged more hours in the air than you have, Tim. He's been flying lately. Very similar play.
Exact same play. California working down low. Hendrickson trying to get there to keep him from diving over. Couldn't do it. 6 for Tennessee.
Tennessee 23, California nothing. Tennessee has a losing record against Pac-10 opponents over the years. Tennessee is 7-8-3 in Pac-10. Looks like they're on the way to evening here today, however. Point after is perfect, and it's 24 to nothing. Tennessee with 11:27 to go in the second quarter. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System.
Tennessee and California.
Thank you, Craig Sager. We'll keep you updated on college football scores all afternoon from our studios in Atlanta. Here in Knoxville, Tennessee, with 11:27 to go in the second quarter. Tennessee 24, California nothing. And Tennessee's Dirk Morganone has an opportunity to kick off one more time. Greer and Moore are deep for the California Golden Bears. Number 3, Tyrone Moore. 34 is Greer. It'll be Moore. Got himself into the end zone, but out he comes. To the 16-yard line, and a penalty marker goes down. And we've been joined in the booth by somebody whose voice will not even need to be introduced. A man who's been heard and seen so many times over the years, Lindsey Nelson. Lindsey, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, Bob. They made a few improvements since I worked here, believe me.
Well, the new press facilities you see us standing in right now. Tim and I, a couple of weeks ago, did the Florida-Alabama game, and it was the 100th telecast for Alabama.
Right.
I looked up who did the first one, and it was a young man by the name of Lindsey Nelson.
Along with a fellow named Mel Allen.
No kidding. 51?
A long time ago. I'd have to count back and see exactly what it was.
You're not going to admit it was 51.
It was a long time.
Hey, Lindsey, did they have heat then?
As a matter of fact, they didn't.
Tim is referring, of course, to the fact that it was a very, according to the South Florida Tim Foley, very cold 44 degrees at kickoff time. But Lindsey, I know you're a resident of Knoxville. This is slightly unusual weather, a little colder than usual for
Yes,
Tennessee.
yes, it is a little colder, but it's a great football day. It's marvelous, really.
Well, Tennessee really laying a whooping on California, 24-0. California running it off the right tackle for about 5 yards that time. More. Excuse me, check that. That was Charles Carter, number 45, who's the third-team tailback now for the California Golden Bears. Lindsey, I guess most of the folks who obviously miss your voice on the telecast know that you have retired now. You're living in Knoxville. You enjoying yourself? I know every time I see a ball game, I see you at it. Seems like you haven't really stopped.
I haven't stopped much. I enjoy it immensely. It's a great spectator sport. So I've tried something.
It seems, but it's unusual for you to be in the booth and not be working, though, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Well, stay here. We're going to let you work a little bit here today. Troy Taylor completes it to Bimson for California's first down out to the 24-yard line. That is Rob Bimson, a junior from Sacramento, California. And now California digging their way out of the hole just a bit. These Volunteers, what's your opinion? We thought early in the year they might be a strong team, but I wasn't sure they were going to be able to be as good as Auburn.
I didn't know Reggie Cobb was going to be as good a running back as he was. That's a big surprise for me.
I'm not sure they knew he was going to be as good as he is. He's
9 touchdowns already on the year for Reggie Cobb. Here is Carter. 45, nowhere to go for Tennessee. And the Tennessee defense looks like so many of the Tennessee defenses over the years.
Well, Tennessee, of course, going way back to the days of Bob Nealon, has had outstanding defenses. Tennessee has always believed in strong defense, the kicking game, and as far as Nealon personally was concerned, he didn't care much about offense at all. He just wanted to let the opposition do something and fool around until they had to kick the ball to him and then let him play.
That's my kind of guy.
I'll bet you have some memories of that man.
Johnny Majors. Absolutely.
How do you rank him among the tailbacks of all time?
Well, John was one of the great tailbacks in the football playing family.
A gain of about 5 that time by 45, Charles Carter again. That'll bring up a third down and about 5 yards. Every time we look up some historical note on a Tennessee game that Majors played in, it seems like he recovered a fumble, returned a punt for a touchdown or something. He was certainly a big play player.
He was that kind of a ball player. There are such things, and when there was a big play, he was there.
Yeah, remember 1956? I'm sure you remember it very well. He was second in the Heisman voting to a man you worked with in the booth a lot, Paul Hornung.
Absolutely, and they've made a lot of that over the years.
Batted out of the air by Tennessee. The man hitting it was David Johnson, 93. And California is going to have to punt it away again. And let's see if their punter's back in there. No, he was injured, shaken up earlier, and Robbie Keane is going to punt. Redshirt freshman kicker is having to fill in for the nation's leading punter, Scott Tabor, who was injured. He did get a 50-yarder away last time, though, thanks to the roll. And a pretty good punt here. It's going to drive Kramer back to the 23. Line drive, however. Kramer flipped head over tails at the 37-yard line. The ball came loose, but it still belongs to Tennessee. Lindsey Nelson, we're going to take a commercial break here, but I hope you'll stick around with us for a couple minutes. Will you do it?
Fine.
We'll be right back to Knoxville. California with 8:53 remaining, second quarter. First down 10, Tennessee. Penalty markers down on the field. Looked like John Bruin was moving, the right guard for Tennessee, number 75. Lindsey Nelson has joined us in the booth. Lindsey retired now, living in Knoxville. I guess this has basically always been your home, has it not?
First down.
Yes, I was born and reared in Middle Tennessee, and I came to school here, and then went out of here into the Army, came right back here and stayed 5 years, and was for a period, we say in baseball, brief and ineffectively, the SID here. Then I was succeeded as the SID by Gus Manning.
Well, of all the things I knew about you, one is not that you were the SID at Tennessee's. No wonder you always knew so much about college football. They're going long for number 4, Terrence Cleveland. It is complete. He is down at the 25. Penalty marker down at the 30-yard line. John Hardy making the play for California. "43 yards on the pass completion.
Nothing fancy here. I think they called interference after the catch, Bob, because Hardy tried to grab.
On the defense, decline. First down.
Jeff Francis airing it out.
Cleveland hadn't really caught any balls in the first couple of games, and Hardy in good position, running right with him. Get your head around, John. The ball's thrown right on time. Good catch by Terrence Cleveland.
Cleveland has 4 catches for 73 yards on the day today.
Good concentration on the ball as he was going down.
Sure bounce off that artificial surface on first down 10. Screen, well executed. Reggie Cobb, look at the blocks. Touchdown! Reggie Cobb's 3rd touchdown of the day. 25 yards. Francis to Cobb on a textbook screen play.
They run those screens and draws pretty well, don't they?
I don't know any better team in the country in terms of running screens, Lindsey. They get their offensive linemen out there in front of it better than anybody I've ever seen, and when they get out there, they do something. You know, there's a lot of linemen that just kind of think they're running on TV and they don't throw themselves, but we'll see this again. You see they've got people chopping folks down.
Bill Rich getting a workout today with point afters. He opened the scoring of the game with a 26-yard field goal. Sanders to the hole. The point after is perfect. Tennessee 31, California nothing, with 8:20 to go in the first quarter. Lindsey Nelson, thank you very much for joining us on behalf of all the sportscasters. As a matter of fact, thanks for all you've meant to us.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bob.
You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System. You're talking about the execution of the screen pass.
And caught in a blitz here, California. And I talked about the offensive lineman downfield. Hold on a second. Todd Kirk, Harry Galbraith. Look at them. They get down there. And those are pretty quick defensive backs. But Galbraith, light on his feet, is able to take one of them down. Derek Taylor can't get there in time to stop Cobb, and it's 6 points for the foul.
Here's Greer on the kickoff return. He finds a seam, but not much. Out to the 27-yard line. California down 31-0 with 8 minutes and 13 seconds to go in the second quarter, and California just hasn't been able to do anything at all today. Troy Taylor 2 out of 7 for 15 yards. The total offense for California is only 29 yards. Tennessee with 247 already.
There's no question about it. I think the lack of sunshine has hurt California here. You just have days like this. And,
some days are diamonds, some days are stone, and this one is a big boulder. Troy Taylor. Good pressure. Completes it to Carter. Make that Donald Nobles, and they'll say, no, it is incomplete. Good quarterback pressure by Hovanek.
Troy Taylor has gotten used to pressure. Whoops, out of bounds. Good call by the official. He's gotten used to pressure, and you hope that he's not getting so much pressure that that he becomes a scrambler instead of a pocket passer, because he's got the skill to become a fine pro quarterback.
Second down 10 for the Golden Bears. Screen pass to number 2. He's got a good open field, Michael Ford, and he gets a first down to the 43. Michael Ford, the sophomore from San Pedro, California, gets 16 yards on the quick screen out to the left side. First down 10 from their own 43-yard line, trailing 31-0 with 7:42 to go, second quarter. Nicely timed pass completion to Michael Smith, 83. McDaniel with the stop. Gain of about 5. Some scores around the college football scene today. Michigan, a prohibitive favorite over Wisconsin today. 14-point first quarter lead. North Carolina. Did you see what Pat Dye said? He said North Carolina has better athletes than Tennessee. But I wonder if he was talking to his players getting ready to play that ball game up there in North Carolina. It's North Carolina, no question about it, tough, and it's 3-3 tie early. Batted out of the air again, and it was Richard Cooper this time. Number 77, knocking it out of the air. And Troy Taylor having what could be called, I think, a nightmare early in this ball game.
And Mom and Daddy Taylor, they're not booing your son. They're just cheering for Richard Cooper. Goes up. Good athletic ability by Richard Cooper.
He may have blocked that with his head.
Can you imagine when you got thrown in a second line of Hovanek, Hunt, and Cooper?
I think Hovannik, Hunt, and Cooper have to be considered more talented than the front line of Hobby, McRae, and Johnson, just in my own opinion. Not necessarily more productive, but more talented. Troy Taylor completes it to tight end Ingram for a first down. California starting to move the ball on a few completions here. Now
he's got somebody in his face, and it really helps you, and it's tough to throw accurately with all those orange jerseys so close to you.
This is 1st and 10 for the 43 of Tennessee. It's complete to Ingram again. Ingram inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
Coach.
1st and 10 from the 27.5 of Tennessee. 3 receivers in there. They give it to the single running back. Fumble. Tennessee recovered it. That was Tyrone Moore who dropped the ball. Tennessee recovered at the 23-yard line. So that stopped that drive. It was Andre Kramer who fell on the ball, number 1 for Tennessee.
Alas, you don't want to beat yourself. Good trap block by Lou Sargent. Opens up the hole. And who dragged it out there? Keith DeLong, who had an exceptional game last year and really is emerging as a leader. The thing about this Tennessee football team, and you saw it even on a couple of those receptions that California receivers make, they're always grabbing for the football. They're always thinking turnover. They're always thinking of a way to try to get that pigskin loose.
Tennessee with 2 more takeaways today. That gives them a +9 on the year on the giveaway takeaway column. Devastating hit was that a completed pass at the 33. It was intended for Kennard McGuire, number 80. Let's see if the officials say yes. They're going to say he caught it. It is a completed pass.
Francis turning upfield, timing a little off on this. Defensive back John Hardy responds. Good concentration by McGuire, and they're going to say that it's the momentum of McGuire that knocked him out of bounds, which makes it the momentum of Hardy that knocked him out of bounds and makes it a completion.
On a 1st down 10, Volunteers from the 33-yard line of Tennessee, leading 31-0. About 3 yards on that one to the fullback, Charles Wilson. That's time remaining in the first half. For California, it probably seems like that means 5 weeks, 5 months, 28 days.
I've been in these games, and things don't go right early, and if a couple balls bounce the other way, the game is totally different, and your confidence begins to build. But here, it's the best thing that can happen for California is to get this over with.
2nd down 6. Keith Davis, number 28, gets it to the 47-yard line of California. Keith Davis with a 16-yard ramble. Derek Taylor, number 19, with a tackle for the Golden Bears.
Just watch the right side of this Tennessee line blocking here. Phil Stewart, number 63, blocking down. Antoine Davis, number 78, opens up that hole. And look at Keith Davis. Look at that little skip popping to the outside to the open area. And you got to admire Keith Davis because he was the number 1 running back. Everybody was talking about him. Now all of a sudden he's backing up Reggie Cobb, but he's not leaving school. He's not going anyplace. He's keeping his mouth shut and playing when they ask him to.
Jeff Francis completes it on the left side, close to the 1st down. Tackled by Jeff Ebert. And that was an interesting play, to say the least. As Francis rolled out, he was almost level there. He completed the pass to Wilson, and they're going to say it is a 1st down.
13 of 14 for 170 yards and a TD.
Not bad. But what happened to the one he didn't complete? That's what I want to know.
What did happen?
Probably the receiver. Oh, it was completed out of bounds, I believe. At the 35-yard line, gain of about 2 for Charles Wilson. One that Terrence Cleveland was shaken up on.
That's exactly right. So that was right on the money. So he's batting 1,000 in my estimation this afternoon, and he's also done a good job checking off not only to the pass but to a couple of runs that were very successful plays for Tennessee.
2nd down 9, Volunteers from the 35 of California. Francis on the scramble. Tried to get it to Wilson. Let's see, do they say he caught it? Yes, they say it was completed. There is a fumble. John Hardy was the man. Ortega also there, and it's California ball. Tennessee with a unusual turnover. It'll be California ball at their own 33.
They're going back to the screen game again, but somebody's in the screen. Francis can't get it off right away. Wilson makes the catch. Hardy hits it with his helmet. The ball is out, and Ortega comes up with the football.
Was knocked loose on the tackle by Hardy, number 1, and Ortega's had some big plays here today for California, despite the fact they're trailing 31-0 with 3:42 to go in the first half. Opposed to it. Get Tim's opinion here, in case you're wondering. Troy Taylor, incomplete. Tried to get it to 48. Fullback Todd Powers. What do you think about college playoffs?
I don't think they're necessary. People are going to have their own opinions. I think, though, they have to do something about the scheduling. I think that there are a lot of good football teams that are trying to pick up weak opponents because they don't seem to get any more credit for beating a good opponent than they get for beating a poor opponent. So I think they need to weight the schedules more, and somehow I think that would compel a good football team to engage other good football teams.
Taylor on the rollout. Incomplete again. Tremendous pressure and coverage. Tennessee just all over the Golden Bears today. Tyrone Moore was the intended receiver, and you saw number 55 Brian Kimbrough was right there on the play as Taylor again had to throw it under pressure. By the way, the last Tennessee possession that resulted in the turnover was the first possession of the day for Tennessee in which no points resulted. Tennessee scoring 4 touchdowns and 1 field goal thus far.
See, they're working up a sweat.
Well, there's sunshine down there. It was 44 degrees here in Knoxville at kickoff. Warming up a little bit now. 3rd down 10. Taylor completes it for a gain of about 5, depending on where they'll spot this ball, out to about the 38-yard line. And it was complete to 82 Brian Bedford. Not enough for the first down. And Robbie Keane comes in to punt.
Hayworth's been putting pressure on Taylor all day.
Tennessee almost got that one. A very good job of punting by Keane. Kramer to the 35-yard line. The freshman Robbie Keane is having to punt because the nation's leading punter Scott Tabor was injured when Tennessee blocked a punt earlier today. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System. Players. We'll have his answer on that in a moment, but first the snap on first down and 10.
I don't think too many guys on the team have really been distracted. A few of them have been pretty upset because I think it ruined our season last year. It kind of preoccupied our minds. Instead of thinking about football, we were thinking about all the different things that were going on. I think that the attitude on this team, people are just going to forget about it. We want to bury the past. We want to look on to the future. We're winning some ball games, so it's really a positive situation.
Indeed positive, leading 31-0. But as you saw, as Keith DeLong was talking about that Sport Magazine article, David Ortega intercepted the pass intended for William Howard, and it's California's ball after 2 Tennessee turnovers. Tim, leading 31-0 has to be a distraction. Speaking of the article, I mean, this must be distracting too, having that big a lead.
Yeah, it is, and I think about this time it's a good idea to get some of your first liners out of there. There's no sense in risking injury to them, and second teamers come in there. They've got a lot more intensity. They've got something to prove, but it's a nice play by Ortega.
Flea flicker. This is Bimson, who took the pass, wanted to throw it, but Tennessee played it so well he never was able to get rid of it. Was tripped up by 30 Cedric Klein. Taylor flipped it back to Bimson. He was looking to throw it downfield, but Tennessee was all over him. He never had a chance.
They wanted to catch Tennessee in some kind of a blitz. Nobody there. Man in his face. Really no chance. Hobby all over him, and now the ball is popped loose. Some of these California players got to be wondering, is there any place that doesn't have an orange jersey around it?
That was Cedric Klein ripping the ball loose that time. Taylor under pressure again. The pass is incomplete at the 30-yard line, intended for Michael Ford. Tony Nelson was right in the face of the quarterback that time, number 6.
A weak safety blitz. Taylor getting a shot, nothing too serious. He's been hit harder than that. He came in after 5 games last year, started 6 games in a row for California. until he had his jaw broken against Southern Cal. He's a tough kid. He's a competitor. He loves to play football. Bruce Snyder smiles about it when he talks about it, because the type of young man that you really enjoy working with.
Ford in motion. Screens at the left side, the fullback Nobles. Nobles chased out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Needs to get to the 26 for a first down. Gain of 11, but it is short of the first down. By the way, here's an update on the injury to California's punter. The freshman Robbie Keane has not done a bad job. He's averaging 43 yards a punt on 4 punts.
Steve Mariucci standing next to Bruce Snyder. And Steve led Division II in total offense. And, well, I think that was like back in '75. He led Northern Michigan to the NIAI, or the Division II championship, and then was where he met Schneider and came with him to California. They've got a real good staff at Cal. Bruce Snyder's put together a good group of coaches. I think they've got 6 or 7 people on that staff that have either been, head coaches or coordinators, and they'll get some things going there.
Next week, Auburn will take on Vanderbilt Commodores in our SEC game of the week down in Auburn, Alabama. Vanderbilt playing Tulane tonight. Auburn in a 3-3 tie right now. Their game they're playing at North.
At 4th down here, they're going for it. They've got nothing to lose.
4th and 3. Taylor's going to scramble for it and get it in a little bit more. Down he goes to the 18-yard line, tackled by 82 Charles Kimbrough with 2:14 to go in the half, and California keeps the drive alive with the 11-yard scramble by Taylor.
Johnny Majors, he's going to be inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in December up in New York. Much deserved reward for his contribution to college athletics as a player and as a coach.
On the first down, 10 from the 18-yard line of Tennessee. Taylor falls flat on his back. He tripped on his center. Looked like his center was stepping back at the snap, and Taylor went down on his backside. Embarrassing moment for that young man.
We'll see it again. I venture to say what happened is the center sets his feet and he steps on Taylor's toe. Let's see if we can see it. No, it's the guard. The guard nails his foot down to the ground. Cam King just stepped right on Troy Taylor's foot, and when you're hot, you're hot.
A dominating tackle by 59 Mark Hovanek into the fullback Donald Nobles. My, oh my. Tennessee really manhandling this California team today.
He just knifes down to the inside. Nobody's able to get a hat on him, and California's thin in the offensive line, but Hovanek has made the great offensive linemen look bad.
1 minute remaining in the first half. 3rd down, 14 from the 22 for the Golden Bears. Short drop. Fade pattern. And Ford never really looked up for that ball. He was being covered by number 8, Victor Peppers.
And that looked like they're pouring orange juice into a spout. If we could, they just, man, everybody's coming. Taylor saw it, lofted it up there, got caught in the wind, and it dove on him. Never had a chance of really being complete.
It's a gusty day today. The wind's about 15 miles an hour as the cold front has arrived here in Knoxville. Yesterday we were on the field watching practice, and it felt like it was warm and pleasant and a summer-like day, and then while we were standing there it got cold. It felt like somebody had turned the air conditioner on. Here's Keene for the field goal attempt. It's blocked. It crossed the line of scrimmage, but Tennessee's player ran it out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Robbie Keane's field goal attempt was blocked, but went ahead and traveled a couple of yards. I think it was Victor Peppers who got his hand on it. Watch for number 8. Don't see it in that picture, but I think you can see it here. Number 8, Victor Peppers.
Around the corner. Like somebody up the middle, Bob. Could have been Hobby. It's a good bet anyway. He's about 8 feet tall.
Peppers was coming in from the right side. I don't think he got there. Fullback on the quick opener with only 39 seconds to go in the half. William Howard with just a couple of yards to the 27-yard line. Tennessee leading 31-0, and California is going to have to go in at halftime and regroup. But here's your problem. If you're Bruce Snyder, you've got at least 7 significant players with various forms of injuries. 2 prior to that were injured, as you pointed out earlier, Tim, before the season even got underway. California just physically overmatched here today. It's hard to strategize what to do when you're in that situation.
Right. You line up your 3 guys against their 400 and see what you want to do. And it's just one of those situations. But Snyder's going to bring these guys through it.
The clock winding down to double zeros here on the scoreboard at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, and that's the end of the first half of play. Johnny Majors Volunteers leading 31-0. We'll be back in a moment. Television held in this afternoon to watch SEC football with Tennessee leading California 31-0. And it's been all Tennessee so far. You're looking at the clouds and a cold front that has descended on Knoxville. 48 degrees right now. It's warmed up 4 degrees from the kickoff temperature. And let's look at the statistics from Alka-Seltzer here in the first half. And Alka-Seltzer could be, I'm sure, a product well used by California at halftime. It's been all Tennessee, and 18 minutes to 11 minutes. Tennessee, and that counts all the turnovers in the game, and there have been 4 of them so far.
California together a couple of drives late in the first half that made those statistics a little bit more respectable, but it wasn't that close until about 5 minutes left in the first half. Johnny Majors has to be relieved about the way his team has performed, and that's when you know you've got a good football team, because you know you have leaders on the field. If a team goes up and down emotionally, that means that as a coach you might be doing a good job, but there's nobody doing the job for you in the huddle. So he has to feel good about Galbraith and Francis and Bruin and Kirk on offense, and William Howard, and he's got to feel good about his defensive leaders also. And understand this is all going on without the involvement of Kelly Ziegler, who's one of their best defenders.
Now, if you're California, one of the statistics you don't want to know about right now is your scoring by half. California has been very strong up until this game in the first 2 quarters, but have been highly outscored in the second 2 quarters. If that happens again today, this could really be a rout. It's 31-0 Tennessee right now, and Tennessee will be kicking off to California. Tennessee's Dirk Borgonone is the kickoff man. They're having a clock problem here at Neyland Stadium. We're ready to begin the third quarter from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Attendance announced at 91,688 today. Many headed for the exit at halftime. In and out of the arms of Moore. He'll just simply collect the ball, and California will bring it out to the 20-yard line. First down 10, and try to get something started. Nothing could get going right for California in the first half. Here's what happened on the possessions in the first half. Give you a little bit of indication of the trend. This is California. Punt, fumble, punt, fumble, punt, block. Field goal.
And somewhere in there was a block punt that they converted into a first down, fortunately.
And on that, by the way, the nation's leading punter, Scott Tabor, was injured. And Robbie Keane, the kicker, had to punt for California several times in the first half. Bruise to the top of the foot of Tabor. He'll probably be okay eventually. Once again, Tennessee's penetration on quarterback Troy Taylor had the ball blocked out of the air. Charles Carter was the intended receiver. So Tennessee's defense, and I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of support players for Tennessee here in the second half. Of course, their #1 defensive unit has started out there. I almost said union. We've heard so much about the NFL strike this week. Tennessee's looking good enough today, you'd think maybe they would go on strike.
I think a point you ought to make, and we'll make it after this play. Go ahead.
On second down 10. Carter gets 2 yards, and hammered by Tennessee was Keith DeLong, number 33.
What a game he had last week against Auburn, and this man is really coming of age. I mentioned before, the son of Steve DeLong, a great player here at Tennessee, just hung right in that opening and popped it to Carter when he turned upfield. Keith DeLong. You got to really commend the Tennessee defensive coaches, especially Ken Donahue, the line coach and coordinator. his players do an excellent job of getting their hands up in the air when the ball's being thrown.
3rd and 3. Pressure on Taylor. Almost picked off. Andre Kramer was the closest man to the ball for Tennessee. And Taylor is now 8 of 21 for only 75 yards. 45, Darren Miller was right in his face. And Robbie Keane comes in to punt.
Darren Miller blitzed from the outside. Kirk came up the middle and came clean. Had a handful of Taylor as Taylor tried to let it go. Probably a ball that he should have eaten. It's always dangerous to let those things fly, especially without any velocity.
Robbie Keane wasn't even on the roster at the beginning of the year in terms of having any playing time, and now he's the kicker and the punter after the injury to Tabor. This one bounces out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Not a very good punt. He had been averaging 47 yards in the first half. That one only 31 yards. Tennessee with good field position and a 31-0 lead.
There's a vacancy at the Bates Motel.
Norman, is that you?
No, it's Buzz McKenzie, and it could be you. Look for this display and enter Bud Light Psycho Sweepstakes to win a Bud Light party with Buzz McKenzie at the Psycho Mansion. You can even get a mug like Spud's at participating retailers. Wow!
That Spud is so cool, it's scary.
Here's to the winners, those who move mountains. Here's to the miracle.
Tennessee ball. First down 10 from their own 48-yard line. Reggie Cobb back in there to start the second half. Gets about 3 yards off left guard to the 48-yard line of California. Reggie Cobb in the first half of play came into the ball game, scored 2 touchdowns running, 1 receiving, then didn't play much. So he has 15 carries, 57 yards.
This is what Tennessee did with the football. Their first 5 opportunities they got on the scoreboard, and then California fought back, caused 2 turnovers.
On 2nd and 6, Cobb. Nothing. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. At about the 47, we'll say he got to the 47. Joel Dixon with the play. You can see it's cold. The earmuffs are already out in East Tennessee. One of the Cal players, Joel Dixon, the man who made the stop, was shaken up on the play. Number 99. Washington, Southern Cal, UCLA, usually with big offensive lines. California, occasionally a very good offensive line. Not this year. Francis completes the pass for the first down to the 34-yard line to 85, John Rollins, the tight end. And Francis is now 15 of 17 for 186 yards and 1 touchdown. Francis has thrown only 3 touchdown passes this year.
Well, I think one of the reasons that statistic exists, Bob, is because they've been so strong on the ground. There's no need to put the football up just for the heck of it. I mean, they've been very effective scoring on the ground in close.
Here's Francis. You see him with the turnaround and the checkoff. Reggie Cobb follows Charles Wilson. It's a good block. Wilson's still out there blocking. About 7 yards to the 27-yard line goes Reggie Cobb behind Wilson and the tight end John Rollins. Ken Harvey making the stop. We're about to see that young man, Sterling Hinton, quarterback of the future, you might call him, for Tennessee. They think so. He's perfect so far, 4 for 4 in his brief career. We saw him against Mississippi State in our first Tennessee telecast this year. 2nd down 4, Volunteers. Out to number 4, Cleveland. Dragged down by John Hardy right about the first down marker. They may have to measure it. It's all the way across the field from where the sticks are. Looks to be a first down to me.
Jeff Francis comes to the line of scrimmage, and what he probably does is he has 2 plays on. One of them a running play back into the sideline, the other a quick screen. And based on the layout of the defense, he'll make a decision. If there's no one in Cleveland's face, they'll go with the quick screen. If he feels like there's going to be a rotation up on that side, then he'll run the ball back into the sideline. And that's pretty good, 2 good choices to have. You know, the quick pass to a speedster or toss the ball to Reggie Cobb.
First down by half the length of the ball. Johnny Major's team will have the week off next week. Some smart aleck reporter will say he had the week off this week in this victory over California. I wouldn't say it, but somebody will, I'm sure. And then a week off, and then it's Alabama at Birmingham.
This is the best start that the Johnny Majors coached Tennessee team has ever had. 3-0-1 and now 4-0-1.
First down, 10, Tennessee at the 23-yard line of California. Volunteers 31, California nothing. We have 11 minutes, 24 seconds to go, third quarter. Here's Cobb, gets the blocks again. Penalty marker's down. Cobb gets about 7 yards. There's penalty marker back in the Tennessee backfield. You see Kelly Ziegler's on the sideline. He had back problems last week.
With the red, white, and blue hat, and he came through on a 4th and 2 situation and hit Scooby Stewart in the backfield last week against Auburn, a play that he'd usually make, but his back was bothering him a lot by that time. He wasn't able to hang on. And
holding on the offense, 10 yards to the previous spot, still first down.
He's been a great player here at Tennessee.
So Kelly Ziegler has, in effect, not playing in this game a couple of weeks to get ready, to heal up, to get ready to play Alabama and Birmingham. To heal up to get ready to play Alabama and Birmingham. And the Crimson Tide struggled last week with a victory in Nashville over Vanderbilt, winning late in the ball game. And Alabama, since losing to Florida, has been struggling a little bit, but don't write them off. Alabama's still a very tough football team, as Tennessee well knows. Here's Reggie Cobb on the screen. Penalty markers down again. And Cobb goes down at the 26-yard line, gain of 8. Ken Harvey with the stop for the California Golden Bears. The race starting to take shape in the SEC. Clipping is the call against Tennessee. And the teams that most people thought, I guess the only disappointing team in terms of preseason picks in the Southeastern Conference, Tim, would be the performance that disappointed them more than anybody else, and that's Ole Miss. Most people expected them to be
on the run,
better.
Still first down.
Than they have been this year, and Billy Brewer says there's just something missing from this team this year, even though they have a lot of veterans back. Ole Miss playing Georgia this weekend.
As you know, Carl Torbush was the defensive coordinator there at Ole Miss and did a fine job, had a good relationship with a lot of players there, and Ron Case took over, who is also an excellent football coach. You always have a little bit of change in philosophy and change in relationship, and that could be part of the situation there because Ole Miss won with defense.
Tennessee is first and 28. Cobb can't hold on to this screen attempt to the right side. It is incomplete. It will be second down 28 with 10:31 to go in the third quarter. So except for the disappointing start for Ole Miss, looks like they've got a good schedule situation for themselves the rest of the way. And Auburn, by the way, as you saw at halftime, struggling today against North Carolina, 3-3 tie at halftime. Francis scrambles back to the 32-yard line on a second down 28 call.
Francis reminds me a lot of a guy that I played with at Purdue named Mike Phipps, who went on to play at Cleveland and then in Chicago. He's a big, tough kid. He's built like a linebacker. He's a real competitor. You'll see him toss the ball back to Cobb. Francis tries to seal. He tries to get a block. He wants to help out. I know Phipps used to run that toss to a guy named Leroy Keys, and Phipps would turn it up into a hole, and he got a 215-pound, it's like another fullback leading the play.
Third down 19, Volunteers. Here's a draw play. And it's short of the first down by about 3 yards. Charles Wilson with the ball for Tennessee. He was the lone setback for the Volunteers, so it's going to be a field goal situation for the Volunteers. They lead 31-0, and Phil Rich, who opened scoring in this game with a 26-yarder, will now attempt a 42-yarder from the middle of the field. Swirling wind, and it's a brisk today, about 15 miles an hour, and when it gets inside this circular wind tunnel called Neyland Stadium, you don't know what direction it is down there on the field right now, but it's brisk. 42-yard attempt. And it's hooking to the left side. Phil Rich misses. Tennessee continues to lead by a score of 31-0. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System. Tennessee 31, California nothing. 9:02 remaining in the third quarter from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Along with Tim Foley, this is Bob Neal. Our spotter today, Kim Anderson. Alex Vergara with statistics, and Nikki Nichols doing her usual Gestapo-like job running our booth here. Complete to the tight end Ingram. First down, California. Pass. First down 10, Golden Bears. Fired it out quickly to Ingram, who was running a pattern, Brian Bedford right down the center of the field, number 82. And the pass and the receiver just didn't connect. You notice that Bedford, number 82, is
They like to get him the football.
Playing with a sore shoulder today. This is second down 10 from the 43-yard line of California. Last week, but UCLA's 3-1 early and leading in the Pac-10. They're actually tied along with Washington and Southern Cal with 1-0 records, and the rest of the teams will open their full conference slate next week. California will play at home against Arizona. Second down 15. There's that motion for California. They try to get Tennessee a little bit out of position. They try to run it, get a yard, maybe not even a yard. Charles Carter, the ball carrier, he's stopped with no gain. Let's go to our studios in Atlanta for this college football update.
Thank you, Bob. Here's the team that maybe could...
We understand how that game's going. It was a similar show here. Tennessee 31, California nothing. Third and 15. Taylor completes it to 83, Michael Smith, for a first down inside Tennessee territory at the 43. 19
pressure on Troy Taylor.
And the receiver, Rob Bimson, tripped before the ball got there. He did not trip on a player, but he tripped over the carpet, you might say. And the pass goes incomplete. No penalty.
One of the things that California was doing against Southern Cal last.
Second down 10 from the 43-yard line of Tennessee, California. Only opportunity to score today was a blocked field goal. There's a quick feat by Troy Taylor, showing you how he can get out of trouble. Now he gets out of bounds after a gain of about 5 at the 37-yard line. California. From the 37 of Tennessee, Troy Taylor says timeout. And by the way, we have an update from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. The Tar Heels of North Carolina 10, Auburn 3. That's in the third quarter. Here also third quarter, 7:27 remaining. Shoulder. A lot of these California players have been banged up in their first 4 games, including that young man. Third down 4. Taylor completes it to Ford. He's open down the sideline. Michael Ford, touchdown, California. A 37-yard connection on the quick toss from Troy Taylor to Michael Ford.
Good poise by Troy Taylor. Tennessee showing a blitz before the ball was snapped. Then they backed up to a zone. Very unlikely that that play would go for a touchdown. California here going for 2 points.
California trailing 31-6 right now. Defensive backs for Tennessee, Tim, are 6 Nelson, 38 Treese, 21 Warren, and 25 Lincoln.
See, Kimbrough and DeLong fake the blitz, then get back out of there. Although they are running man-to-man underneath. Now, I'm not sure if that was Days or Klein, but it's not 2 hands. You know, it almost looked like he just tagged them. Let's see it again. Here we go, faking the blitz. He's happy about the completion. I'm sure he's just as surprised as we are that it went all the way. Hey, no problem. No problem.
That's his 10th touchdown pass on the year, and the single-season touchdown pass record for California is held jointly by 3 players at 14, so Troy Taylor could be a record setter before this season's over. He is only a sophomore. That wasn't exactly a Troy Taylor touchdown. The job was done on the good run by Michael Ford and the mix-up coverage.
Actually, and he's running toward an open area.
Now California going for 2 points. Trailing 31-6. Troy Taylor threw it as he was running out of bounds. Tried to get it to tight end Darrell Ingram. It falls incomplete, and the score remains Tennessee 31 and California 6. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System. Our TBS Sports coverage of SEC football today. Tennessee laying a whipping on California 31-6 with 7 minutes 12 seconds to go. Third quarter from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. California scoring on the 37-yard touchdown pass, and there's Reggie Cobb back to take the kickoff from Robbie Keane. Tennessee with 341 yards total offense. California now with 179. Cobb is going to take this kickoff at his 4th. Cobb picks his way out to the 35-yard line. He was tripped up by number 25, Lamar Hasbrook. A 31-yard kickoff return for Reggie Cobb. Rushing today, Reggie Cobb has 17 carries for 64 yards. And he's got 36 yards receiving, including 1 touchdown catch. Jeff Francis continues to be the Tennessee quarterback. We thought we were going to see the freshman Sterling Hinton, but Francis remains in there. First down 10 Tennessee from their own 34. Charles Wilson out to the 40. Tennessee has played 6 running backs today. Cobb, Davis, Keith Davis, and Vando Davis at the tailbacks, and Howard Wilson and Poles at the fullback spot.
Johnny Majors in his 11th season at Tennessee, taking the Volunteers to 3 straight bowls. This could be his best team ever.
Second down 5 from the 40. They give it to Charles Wilson again, and Major Whiteside with the tackle, the junior from Pomona, California.
He's been quite a player for California. Strong and squatty football team, no doubt about it.
Except for Cobb, who gets the ball and gets close to the first down. David Ortega, talk about a California player having a good day. Tennessee has turned the ball over on a punt situation. Dwayne Jones, number 20, back for California. The Golden Bears are going to rush 10. Nobody gets there. Garman with a beauty. Jones at the 16 to the 20 and down. College football scores now as California comes out to take a shot at offense one more time. A 40-yard punt by Garman. Auburn trailing North Carolina. We'll give you some more scores in a moment. First down 10 California. Hand off to the tailback, who's sorry he got it, Charles Carter. Mike Whitehead led the way for Tennessee. Mike Whitehead has been a little banged up. He started a couple of games at middle guard. Is really listed as third-team middle guard now.
One player that's on the field for Tennessee now defensively, you see him in your picture, number 25, Jeremy Lincoln. He's a true freshman. And they had thought about redshirting Jeremy, but I talked to Kevin Steele, a defensive backfield coach, and they felt like he was going to be a starter for them next year, and they wanted to get him some playing experience this year, and could be a great defensive back for Tennessee.
Troy Taylor can't connect with Rob Bimson. And Colorado in the battle of the state, 19-0 in the first quarter over Colorado State. Tennessee clobbered Colorado State here in Knoxville earlier in the season. Taylor can't find anybody. It's an incomplete pass. His arm was going forward. Darren Miller was the man who made the hit.
When you're a competitor like Troy Taylor, you just hate to give up. Looking downfield, nobody there, starts to scramble. Then he sees somebody popping open. Probably best at that point to go ahead and eat the football. Not too many good things can happen if you can't complete your motion somehow. At least put some velocity on it. He tries to get rid of it, but to no avail.
Punting situation once again for the California Golden Bears. Robbie Keane in there. Clock ticking down, the 25-second clock down to 4 seconds. He's going to get it away, however. End over end. Andre Kramer lets it bounce as it's loose on the field. Gets a good California roll. Robbie Keane once again punting for Scott Haber, California's punter, who was injured in the first half on a Tennessee blocked punt. With North Carolina trailing 10-3, Jeff Francis continues to quarterback the Volunteers on first down 10. Complete gain of about 3 yards to Keith Davis. Reggie Cobb is out of there for Tennessee. Update Reggie Cobb, the latest that we understate even Knoxville. Davis battling out to about the 33-yard line, needs to get to the 34 for the first down. Tim Harden with the stop, and
I think with the time, and it's going to go well for him in the NFL draft. People know what he can do, and they know he's a team player, and that's important.
Third down and about a half an inch. You saw him measure with a piece of paper. That's as close as you can get. The referee, Pat Flood, penalty marker down, slid a piece of paper between the ball and the first down stick. And I guess his decision was, if I can get this paper between there, it's not a first down. And so Tennessee went for it, but a penalty marker is now on the field. Big SEC game tonight with Florida and LSU, in case you're wondering why you haven't heard that score. It is a night game, along with Vanderbilt playing at Tulane. Francis going deep. There's a penalty marker down. He's looking for Thomas Woods, and Travis Oliver had a hold of Thomas back about the 25-yard line. Had he not, Thomas had him beaten deep.
As you develop experience as a defensive back, Bob, you can tell by watching a wide receiver break the huddle whether he's going deep, especially if he's a flyer, because he's got a smile on his face, and usually his cleats are smoking by about the third step.
Woods were smoking.
Yep, right. Oliver grabbed a towel out from his drawers there, and that's the best thing to do. If you're whipped like that, man, grab him, tackle him, do whatever you can. You know, you line up to play again. What is it, a 15-yard penalty?
Particularly with that change in the rule. You know, I don't understand why there aren't more plays like that. I don't, it certainly is not good sportsmanship. But if somebody's got your feet deep and you're back at midfield and you know that it's only going to be a 15-yard penalty, tackle the guy. Right, so Oliver did that, and instead of giving up a touchdown or a long gain down to the 15-yard line or something, it's simply a first down at the 46-yard line. So at least intellectually, it was a good play.
Right.
The play fake. Francis is just going to take it long again. There is Cleveland, just beyond his outstretched fingertips. I had you right on the tips of my fingers, and I let you slip right through my hands. Be a good country song, wouldn't it?
Well, Jeff gets a little help from the wind here that probably lifts it out of. And see what I'm talking about? When he came off the line, man, there's no doubt about it. He's taken off. Hat up, here I go. Let it go, Jeff. I can run under it. Just scoot it outside his reach.
Who wrote that song? Bill Anderson, I think.
Just outside my reach?
I had you right on the tips of my fingers. I had Reggie Cobb back in there for Tennessee on second down 15 from the 49. And he gets the ball. And he gets hit by Ken Harvey.
At 225 pounds. He's just a real specimen.
Third down 14, Tennessee. Francis tucks it and runs it to the 42-yard line. Gain of about 5 for Jeff Francis.
Having the wrong personnel on the field. One was an improper alignment. They couldn't get it changed in time.
Garman downs it inside the 5. Well, as Tim said earlier, when you're hot, you're hot. Bob Garman with a beautiful pooch kick, and it's going to be California ball now. First down 10 at their own 5. Roland Poles was the guy to get down there and get the ball. He almost caught it. 37-yard punt. An exceptional job of execution by Bob Garman, the senior punter for Tennessee. Many great punters have been here in Tennessee. Garman came here because of the tradition. He's a Birmingham young man, considered all. 1:05 third quarter. California ball at their own 5. Here's Carter, the tailback, out to the 9-yard line. Gain of about 4. Cedric Klein. Cedric, or call me Cedric Klein, from Loudon, Tennessee, with a stop. Rifled it in, penalty marker down. Looking for 83, Michael Smith. Pass interference on the defense is 15 yards. Sometimes it's less than that because it's spot of the foul. That's why you get some unusual yardage on penalties. Interested in statistics. Darrell Ingram, the tight end, with a reception and a big gain to the 49-yard line. California moving the ball as we get to the closing seconds of the third quarter. It's 10
out around Dave Johnson, who looked like he was responsible for the containment, gave him the time to throw the ball.
Be the final play probably of the third quarter. Taylor going long, picked off. What a tremendous interception by Preston Warren, the redshirt freshman from Knoxville. He picked it off and did a Baryshnikov down the sideline. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System.
Just got through talking about Troy Taylor, and sometimes had a tendency to force the football, and this ball is forced in there. There's no question about it. There was not really an opening. Kimbrough following underneath. Brian Kimbrough, number 55, and Fields goes up in the air and makes the catch. Nice catch.
How about the great dancing down the sidelines by Preston Warren? My. This is Reggie Cobb, 10 yards on the carry. Close to the first down.
Yeah, I gave Ernie Fields credit for that interception. That's Preston Warren. Good catch, Preston.
75 yards, Reggie Cobb.
Yeah, they may make you a receiver. I think you got to get Reggie Cobb out of the game.
Reggie Cobb, 19 carries, 75 yards today. He's had 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 1 receiving. Tennessee 31, California 6. Here's Cobb again. Now that run, not just because it was a 13 yards, not just because he wore number 34, reminded me a lot of 34 from the University of Georgia, Herschel Walker. Low center of gravity, knocking people over.
And good quickness, good agility here. Watch this, in a vision. Gets it to the outside, breaks a tackle of Ken Harvey, heading upfield. He's a smaller version of number 34 from Georgia, though.
You're right. 191 yards rushing on the day for University of Tennessee. Vincent Moore, number 10, in motion for the Volunteers on the 1st and 10. Francis had his receiver wide open down there and just couldn't connect. It was John Rollins, the tight end, 85.
Dadgummit. Discouraged, always discouraged when you let a ball fly like that. Oftentimes you have to take something off the football. You got to throw it a little bit easier to loft it over those linebackers and still get it down in time before the safety gets there.
It was only the 5th missed connection for Francis all day. He's 18 out of 23 for 201 yards. He's thrown 1 interception. Has 1 touchdown pass. Second down 10. From the 46 of Cal. They set up the screen nicely. Penalty markers are down. Maybe possibly an ineligible receiver downfield. Charles Wilson caught the pass. I saw a lineman way downfield. There's our fella, Tua Tagovailoa. Saw his name stretching across his back.
There is no penalty. There's a screen pass. Ball touched behind the line.
There, I might explain again that what happens on that, if it's a screen pass, and the official throws the penalty marker because he sees a potential ineligible receiver downfield.
And when he becomes ineligible, if the ball is thrown beyond the line of scrimmage.
Correct. So the penalty marker goes down, then the officials discuss it. If it was completed behind the line of scrimmage, they simply pick the flag up. 3rd down 4. It is complete to number 5, Thomas Woods, for the first down to the 32, tackled by John Hardy. Penalty markers are down on the play.
The referee threw the flag that time with vigor. I mean, we're talking about 30 yards up in the air. That flag went.
Tennessee in command of this ball game, 31-6 with 13:35 remaining. Volunteers get the week off next week and then head to Alabama to play the Crimson Tide in Birmingham.
Dead ball, personal foul on the defense, first down.
Woods on just a little quick hitch. Jeff Francis checks off to the hitch. Hardy in good position. And that's Steve Hendrickson. And that's where the flag came from. Inside linebacker Steve Hendrickson.
From Wine Country, Napa, California. First down 10. Francis sees the broken play. There's the headiness that Francis shows so often. Doesn't seem significant in a game that's out of hand like this, but that's the kind of things he does so well. 7 minutes remaining. Auburn in front of North Carolina after trailing 10-3. Auburn storms back, leads 17-10, 7 minutes remaining at Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Georgia out in front of Ole Miss in the second quarter. Kentucky leading Ohio University.
Kentucky is very quietly improving.
We'll see Kentucky a couple of times down the stretch with our SEC coverage. To the 11-yard line goes Jeff Francis, and David Ortega now has 11 tackles on the day. Oklahoma with no problems with Iowa State. And Florida State leading Miami 7-3. That's early first quarter score. Holy Cross having no problem. Michigan also way out in front of Wisconsin.
That's more points than Miami has been given up in a game already.
Jeff Francis gives it to Reggie Cobb. He twists his way to the 7, and now the 12th tackle of the day for David Ortega for California. That linebacker has been active. Let's watch number 40, the sophomore from Whittier, California.
Real heady, real good instinct. When talking to the coaches, he has got a knack of getting around the football. Not a real talented athlete, but one of those young men that work hard to develop their skills to their full potential.
It's 4th down and 1, Tennessee from the 7, and Johnny Majors is going to go for it on 4th down. Jeff Francis says, I'm not real sure about the play we have called here. I'll come to the sideline to chat about it. 11:31 to go in the ball game. And Tennessee now has 1 timeout remaining in the game. We'll take a timeout here with 11:31 to go.
Like many before, you came here asking for just one thing.
Sadowski. Shibowski.
A chance.
Pronounced Shibowski.
You're gonna make it here, 'cause you make America work, and good times for you.
Here's to you. Beechwood Age for that.
4th down, 1, Tennessee. Charles Wilson, Roland Poles in the backfield for the Volunteers. They give it to Wilson. He gets the first down to the 5-yard line. Tackled by Darren Greer. So Tennessee keeps their drive alive, leading 31-6. And it'll be first down goal at the 5-yard line. And Reggie Cobb goes back in there. It's possible Reggie Cobb could tie the Tennessee record for most touchdowns in a game of 4 should he score.
Well, I'm sure they're going to give him an opportunity. Would you say so, Bob?
That'd be my guess if he's in there, and he is. There's Charles Wilson, number 32, lining up behind him, number 34, Reggie Cobb. Cobb on the screen makes the block. Touchdown, Wilson. How about that one? Charles Wilson, the fullback, catches the touchdown reception. They had Cobb into the motion out there, and Cobb rolled out there and made a block to give time to Jeff Francis to throw the touchdown pass.
They fake the toss here, trying to get California supporting. They run a man up into the corner. Wilson down in the flat. Francis puts a lot of heat on it. It looked like Hardy hit the ball. Wilson makes the catch anyhow. Good hands for a fullback, Charles Wilson.
That's Eric Still for Tennessee is down. At about the 5-yard line, the Tennessee right tackle, Charles Wilson, got his first touchdown receiving the football and his second touchdown of the season. Tennessee leads 37-6 with 10:59 to go in the fourth quarter, and Eric Still is the players we told you shaken up and down on the ground, and he's been playing very well at right tackle.
He's been playing for Phil Stewart. Got a lot of playing time the first 2 games for Phil Stewart, who had been hampered by an injury.
Penn State not having much of a problem with Temple today. That's third quarter. Texas A&M trying to come back. Texas Tech has led most of the way through that game. Made a comeback attempt there. And Virginia Tech going for their first victory of the year in the fourth quarter over Navy. West Virginia rolling over East Carolina in the fourth. Point after attempt here. We'll get a report on the injury to Eric Still as soon as we hear it. It looked like a knee or ankle, or at least something on his leg there from the knee down. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System. Well, that's a battle. Everybody wondering just how good Florida State is and just how good Miami is. We saw in our SEC telecast Miami just disassemble Florida in our season opener. We found out that Florida is a good football team. Miami clobbered Arkansas, one of the top 20 teams. Florida State hadn't really been tested thus far, but right now they're passing their test with that 4-point edge on Miami, but it's early. And Miami is 8-1 in Tallahassee. Big hit at the 20-yard line. It was Tyrone Moore with the ball. The man making the stop was 54 Houston Thomas after the 9-yard return. California ball, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
That's the second big hit that young man has had on the kickoff. And that's not how you like to start a drive. Your return man hammered.
And then having normally to send him into the backfield as the tailback, but Charles Carter has played most of the way for California at the tailback position in the second half. 1st and 10 from the 20. Taylor just has to take it to the turf at the 24-yard line. Troy Taylor is...
That puts him now 5 away from tying Craig Morton and Joe Roth and Rich Campbell.
It's complete to the tight end, to the wide receiver, Rob Bimson, number 87. Preston Warren covering on the play, 11-yard gain. Hope you'll be sure and join us next Saturday when the Commodore on the 1st and 10. 10 minutes to go in this ball game. California from their own 34-yard line. Carter gets it to the 39. Let's go to our studios in Atlanta. Craig. 2nd down 7, California from the 37. Bedford in motion. He had been shaken up earlier, but it's okay and back in there for California. Pass reception by Ingram. The tight end gets it to the 43-yard line, short of the 1st down. David Walker with the tackle. There's the time remaining in the game.
Shift. If it's a zone, they all stay in the same spot.
Not much that time. California does not convert. Charles Carter goes down. For sticking with us, by the way, we're going to send you the new Tim Foley book. I'll explain that to you in a moment. Auburn leading North Carolina in the 4th quarter with less than 4 minutes remaining, 17-10. And Auburn has the ball. I'm going to send you the Tim Foley book, How to Enjoy a Ball Game When the Point Spread is More Than 32 Points late in the game. And what to watch for.
The temperature below 50 degrees.
Looking forward. From high atop Shields Watkin Field, which is the name of the field here at Neyland Stadium, Bob Neal and Tim Foley. Look at this guy. You got to be better than this. We got to dress him a little better. It's because he's cold, folks. Now you look much better for him being on camera. They won't put our picture up there anymore if you keep turning your collar up. California converts the 1st down. It was Charles Carter carrying, and their drive stays alive. And Bruce Snyder just knows he's got a 4.5-hour, 5-hour plane flight back to Cal Berkeley, located in the Bay Area of Northern California, and he knows he's got a lot of work they've seen here today at Knoxville. Taylor, there's the quick feet. Despite his day, you got to like the looks of this young quarterback. Down he goes inside Tennessee territory at the 48-yard line. I can see why Bruce Snyder told us yesterday on the sideline, I really like this guy for a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
second down 2 from midfield. Sometimes you see him try to take it deep on this kind of play. Let's see what Troy Taylor does. He completes the pass for the first down while being dragged down. Let's see where they spot it. It is a first down pass, and look at that. That's his flak jacket to protect his ribs there, and he's needed it today. Troy Taylor has been banged around. Watch Tracy Hayworth, 88, all over it.
Trying to drag Bedford across the field. What a job by Taylor there. Hayworth all over it.
First down 10, California at the 44 of Tennessee. It's Volunteers 38, California 6. Complete at the 36-yard line. We had to wait for the officials to give us a ruling on that. Could have been a short hop to Brian Bedford. We're talking about second down 3. Here's Carter, close to the first down. He needs to get past the 34-yard line of Tennessee to get the first down. Of course, I knew one of the very well, Steve Bartkowski, in the years that I broadcast pro football for the Atlanta Falcons. Steve Bartkowski, of course, a #1 draft choice. But look at him. Cap and Morton, you know a lot of these guys and played against them, Tim.
Yeah, they threw it over my head.
I'll bet you played against at least the top 4 fellas, right?
Yes.
Cap, Morton, Bartkowski, Ferragamo. Joe Cap, until last year, of course, was the coach here at California.
Real competitive individual.
Remember when Steve Bartkowski was at California with Vince Ferragamo. Ferragamo didn't get much playing time one year and transferred to Nebraska. Remember that?
Back to it. Reggie Cobb's got the towel on his head. On the left of your screen, just out of the picture with the green hat, that's Anthony Miller. Anthony had his knee operated on early in the year. The red hat in the background, that's Alvin Harper. He kind of stands out.
They make their hurt players wear caps.
Yeah, that's it, right.
Thanks for showing us your number, Alvin. Tim's the only guy I know in America that knows all the college football players without their numbers on. Now that's research. On the third down short yardage, California may have it. Let's watch for the spot. It is a first down, California. So they keep their drive alive, trying to get something respectable out of this game to take back to California with them, trailing 38-6 with 5 minutes and 28 seconds remaining.
Tennessee able to develop some valuable experience here in a game like this. Because one thing that you're always concerned about, Bob, going down a stretch run for any championship race, whether it's a national title or a conference title, is depth. Because you know injuries will be a factor at some point.
On the first down 10 from the Tennessee 34. Here's the pitch to the left side to the fullback. I believe that's the tailback 45, Charles Carter. Thought for a moment it went to 46, Donald Nobus.
I tell you, Troy Taylor, he's got to be wondering, what do I have to do to not get hit? That was a toss. Hovanek was in his back pocket before he had the ball from the center.
Well, Auburn's come from behind. They were trailing North Carolina 10-3, now leading 20-10. Just got a field goal, and you see how much time is remaining, a minute 14 in that game at Chapel Hill, North Carolina. So it looks like Auburn's going to get out of there with a win against a very tough North Carolina team. And that's Darrell Ingram. He has a slew of receptions today. That was the 6th catch of the afternoon for 85 yards for their tight end, Darrell Ingram.
What they're doing with him, Bob, is they're letting him sit at the line for a minute and help with the defensive end as he's rushing upfield. He's given the shot to the defensive end, holding for a second, letting those linebackers drop out of there, and then he's just kind of like a back swinging out of the backfield, except for he's doing it from the line of scrimmage. Just checking and going.
California at the 23-yard line of Tennessee. And a first down. Single setback. 3 receivers. Crossing pattern. Diving catch attempt by Michael Ford as it falls to the turf at the 15.
Once again, they brought the free safety. And they're bringing him from 6 yards deep. Even if he comes clean, he's got to get there in a hurry.
So the Tennessee Volunteers will have the week off, then go play Alabama at Birmingham. Then Georgia Tech will play here in Knoxville on the 24th of October. Then Tennessee goes up to play at Boston College on Halloween weekend. November 7th, Louisville comes to Knoxville. Then Tennessee closes out the season versus Mississippi in Knoxville, Kentucky at Lexington, and Vanderbilt in Knoxville. Carter has really carried the load from the tailback spot today for California in the second half, particularly. Carter's had 13 carries, only about 35 yards, however. Time remaining in this ball game. Johnny Majors, as Tim told you, watching this team get off to the best start of any Tennessee team he's had since 1977 here at his alma mater.
The best start for a Tennessee team in recent years was, I think it's 73. They're off the 5-0 start. That's when they had Condridge, Holloway, and other fine players.
Troy Taylor goes down at the 35-yard line. Mark Hovanek, number 59.
And this is just an excellent job. Watch this now. Doesn't this look like orange juice coming? Here they come.
Somebody
here
spilled
comes
the
Kelly
orange
Days
juice.
from right field. And Hovanek gets free. But Peppers and McDaniel and Preston Warren were doing a fine job in coverage.
Pouring, what'd you say? Pouring orange juice in a funnel? Said it.
In a funnel? What would you pour orange juice in? I'm not really an orange juice myself.
Pour it in my glass at breakfast.
Right.
You're buying. Which would really be a shock. 4th down, 21 as Troy Taylor rolls, looks for somebody, finds nobody. He was out of bounds and then threw it out of bounds. He ran out of field too. That was 4th down, so Tennessee will take over with 2:14 to go. And Taylor finishes today with 37 pass attempts. There, by the way, is the Tennessee lineman Eric Still, who was injured earlier with his ankle. They say they don't think it's serious. You can see they're keeping his weight off of it. When you weigh as much as he does, 270, you want to keep the weight off. But Eric Still was injured earlier today. Taylor, 37 pass attempts. That's his season high for attempts. Completed 17 for 213 yards. And now Sterling Hinton is in the game for Tennessee. Redshirt freshman. We saw him against Mississippi State, and he looked pretty good. 4 out of 4 threw a touchdown pass.
Good athlete. Good skill.
And the handoff to Vando Davis. He may not throw a pass in this ball game with only 2:06 to go. Jeff Francis today, 21 of 26. 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Going to get our ace statistician Alex Vergara to figure out the percentage of 21 out of 26. Unless you can do that in your head, Tim. You're a Purdue guy.
Tim Harden down in the field for California.
We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching SEC football on the Turner Broadcasting System. There's a story of the game. 1:56 remaining. Tennessee 38-6. And that man, Jeff Francis, has completed today 80.7% of his passes. Nearly 81% of 21 of 26. It only took us about 15 minutes to figure out what that percentage was. I thought a guy from Purdue would know that. I don't know.
And fine man out of Mount Prospect, Illinois.
And Sterling
roots
from Passaic, New Jersey, is the quarterback at the moment. He's going to throw it. Good arm. Picked off, however, with the ball, Darren Greer, number 34. Out of bounds at midfield. Zurcher, number 13, excuse me, number 13 is Zurcher, the receiver.
And just a little play pass action. Tried to throw the curl up too high. They had the arrow up going down the sideline that put Griffin in the right spot. Or excuse me, Greer. Up, get up. He's used to Alvin Harper. Good effort for the ball.
Minute 31 to go. Troy Troy Taylor throwing on the run and completing the pass to the 41-yard line to Charles Carter out of the backfield, gain of about 7 yards. There's the final score from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Auburn defeating North Carolina 20-10. So the Auburn Tigers remain undefeated. Only the tie last week here, 2020, with Tennessee to blemish their record. Auburn now goes to 3-0-1 on the season, and Auburn will take on Vanderbilt next week on our game at 12:30 Eastern Time. And our grandstand report begins at 12:15 Eastern Time. There's Carter running for the first down inside the 35-yard line. Vanderbilt will play Tulane tonight. Vanderbilt, despite struggling and losing ball games, in my opinion, Tim, is an improved football team.
Well, they're scoring points. They're scoring points on pretty good defenses. I was surprised that they were able to put 23 on the board against an Alabama defense.
And Alabama won that game late in the ball game. Folks I talked to in Nashville said that Vanderbilt played Alabama heads up in that game too. That wasn't a late come from behind putting some points on the loss. The ball popped loose after the whistle had sounded at the 23-yard line. Mike Kelly making the tackle on Michael Ford. Time remaining in this game. It is history. Tennessee beating California by a score of 38-6. California will get a shot to try to change the score, if not the outcome of the game here. Play or two remaining, possibly. Troy Taylor on the first down, and boy, does he get leveled. He tried to get it to Michael Smith at the 13-yard line, but Charles Kimbrough was inside his jersey, number 82 for Tennessee. Clock stops with 10 seconds remaining. You can see the look on the face of Troy Taylor that he has had better days.
Yeah, and he's apologized to Michael Smith for not getting him the ball. He's earned the respect of these offensive linemen here at California because he's taken a punishment.
But speaking of country songs, what's that, Reba McEntire? I've seen better days. We're in Tennessee. That's the reason.
That's good. That's good.
Country music motif here today. 10 seconds to go in the game.
Here they come again. What a catch.
Look at the catch, and what a pass running against the grain. It was Ernie Rogers, a freshman from Fontana, California, who caught the ball, and the beauty, in my opinion, it was a great catch. But watch Troy Taylor running left, throwing right.
Let's see if this is who he's thrown it for. This is just a great job of getting out of there. He shows some quickness, breaks containment. He had two receivers down the left side. Let's see. Yep, that's who he was throwing it for. Beautiful throw. He stretches out. Now, that wasn't beyond anybody's reach. Great catch. Let's see it again. Excellent effort. He's working on Tony Nelson. There's the defensive back for Tennessee. That's 10 for Troy Taylor.
And going for the two-point conversion, Tennessee's defense hold is 38-12. Tennessee with 2 seconds remaining in the game. We'll be back for the kickoff right after this.
Here's to the winners, those who move mountains. Here's to the miracles they make us see.
Holiday Inn welcomes you, the people who know that winning at life is working hard at it and living it fully day after day.
Here's to the winners, all of us can be.
Holiday Inn salutes you. Here's to the winners. We're on your way.
People in this country work hard every day. Not for fame or fortune do they strive, but the fruits of their labor are worth more than their pay. And it's time a few of them were recognized.
You work hard for every dollar you spend. Now get $5 back when you buy 12 quarts of any Valvoline motor oil.
You work a 40-hour week for a living just to send it on down the line.
Well, late in the ball game here with only 2 seconds remaining, California has brought the score to 38-12, but Johnny Majors' team has done what you've got to do with a team that has a chance for a conference championship, as Tennessee certainly does, and that is that you got to play against the games that you might be flat on.
We talk a lot about Ken Donahue. There he is, standing right in front of Johnny Majors. On Johnny's right is Walt Harris, the guy with black hair, and he's calling the plays on offense. Ken Donahue, the dean of coordinators, 21 years in Alabama, and just does a fantastic job. Still loves the strategy of the game. And I incorrectly took a touchdown pass away from Troy Taylor earlier. That's 11 for him so far this year. So if he stays healthy, that record, most touchdown passes in a season at California, held by Craig Morton and Rich Campbell and Joe Roth, is going to fall this year.
They all hold that record at 14 touchdown passes in a season, and with only 4 games down, Troy Taylor already with 11. 2 seconds to go in this game. That kickoff goes out of the end zone, so Tennessee will have to have one more play from the line of scrimmage. Next week, Tim and I will be at Auburn, Alabama for the Alabama-Vanderbilt ball game, and this Tennessee team will go to a record now of 4-0-1 and off to the best start ever for a Johnny Majors coach Tennessee team. A week off to heal, to practice, and to get ready to go into, as they like to call it in Birmingham, the football capital of the South, Legion Field. I think the people in Knoxville might argue a bit with that, but then so would the people in Athens and Oxford and Starkville, etc. And Gainesville, and there's one of them all in Baton Rouge. I'll leave one out. We're in trouble. Nashville. Final play of the game. Roland Poles carries for Tennessee, and this one's history. Tennessee 38, California 12. Tennessee 4-0-1 on the season. We'll be back with final comments after this.
Balance.